The sacred mistake. The sun was low on the horizon when Jack's small ship crashed into the thick green jungle of a strange alien moon. Sparks flew, metal groaned, and the cockpit lights blinked in panic. Jack cursed under his breath as smoke filled the cabin. He grabbed his backpack, kicked open the hatch, and jumped into the unknown. The jungle was quiet. Too quiet. Tall glowing trees surrounded him, their leaves like silk and light at the same time. Strange blue birds flew overhead. The ground was soft, covered in moss that shimmered faintly under his boots. Jack looked around, scanning for life or danger. His ship was dead and no signal was getting through. He was alone, or so he thought. As he walked deeper into the forest, he heard soft drums. Not loud, not fast. Slow, steady, like a heartbeat. Curiosity pulled him toward the sound. He moved through the vines and strange flowers until he reached a clearing. What he saw made him stop. There were aliens, tall, slender, with silver skin and glowing eyes, kneeling in a circle around a fire. They wore robes made of leaves and feathers. In the center of the circle stood a young alien woman. She was beautiful, with long, flowing hair that sparkled like starlight. Her eyes were wide and bright. She held a bowl of smoke in her hands, raising it to the sky. Jack took one, stepped forward. A twig snapped under his foot. Every alien turned at once. The drums stopped. The silence hit like thunder. The woman's bowl dropped from her hands and shattered. She gasped, eyes locked on Jack. The other aliens began to whisper, their voices trembling. A sky one. A holy one. He has come. Before Jack could speak, they all dropped to their knees. Jack raised his hands. Wait, I didn't mean to interrupt, But the young woman was already crawling toward him. Her movements were slow, respectful, almost scared. She stopped at his feet, placed her forehead to the ground and whispered, I offer myself to you. I am yours now. Jack blinked. What? She looked up, her eyes full of wonder. You are human. You are sacred. Jack took a step back, but the crowd began chanting softly. They were not angry. They were worshiping him. You must be mistaken, he said. I'm not a god. I'm not sacred. But they didn't hear him. Or maybe they didn't want to. The young woman stood slowly. My name is Lyra, she said gently. I belong to you now. By our ancient ways, it is my duty and my honor to serve the Sky One. Jack felt dizzy. Serve me? Like, help me get off this planet? She tilted her head. More than that. I will sleep near you, clean for you, protect you. I will be yours in all ways. Jack's eyes widened. Whoa, hold on. I don't want a pet, or a servant. Lyra smiled softly. It is not about what you want. It is about what you are. Our oldest stories speak of your kind. Humans, creatures of fire and stars. When one comes, we give ourselves to them. We serve them, and in return, they protect us. Jack shook his head. I think there's been a big misunderstanding. But the elder of the tribe stepped forward, his face calm and serious. This is no mistake, he said. You arrived during the sacred night. You stepped into the ritual space. This is a sign. The prophecy has begun. Jack stared at him. Prophecy? The elder nodded. Long ago, our ancestors spoke of the Sky Ones. They said one would come during the season of fire. He would bring change, for good or for ruin. Jack looked at the flames. The wind moved, through the trees. The aliens watched him like he was the center of the universe. He rubbed his forehead. This can't be real. Lyra stepped closer. Please, accept me. It is my right to serve you. Jack looked into her eyes. They were honest, kind, full of belief. She wasn't afraid. She was hoping he'd say yes. He sighed. Okay, fine. I accept, but only until I figure out how to leave this place. She smiled with joy and bowed deeply. The others cheered quietly, their voices soft like wind. He didn't know what he had just agreed to. But deep inside the jungle, something else had heard the chants. Something old, something angry, something that did not believe in the sacred. And it was coming. The rules of devotion. Jack woke up to a strange smell, sweet and sharp, like burning flowers. He opened his eyes slowly and saw soft orange light flickering across the wooden walls of a small hut. The ceiling above him was made of woven vines and glowing stones. Everything felt quiet. Too quiet. He sat up and realized he wasn't alone. Lyra knelt beside him, her hands folded on her lap. She had not slept. Her silver eyes were calm, patient. When she saw him move, she smiled gently. "You are safe," she said. "Where am I?" Jack rubbed his head. "In the Guardian's hut," Lyra replied. "It is sacred ground. No harm may come to you here." Jack looked around. Strange alien tools hung on the walls, long staffs, bowls of dust. What? Looked like bones carved into symbols. Everything glowed faintly, pulsing like it had a heartbeat. "You didn't have to stay here all night," he said. Lyra shook her head. "I must stay, until you know the rules." "Rules?" Jack raised an eyebrow. "Yes," she whispered. "The rules of devotion. I have offered myself, now I must follow the path." Jack frowned. "Look, Lyra, about last night. I didn't mean to make you do anything. I'm just a guy, not a god." She looked down, her voice soft. "You don't have to be a god to be sacred. The sky chose you. The old signs are clear. We do not question them." Before Jack could argue, the door opened. 2 tall alien warriors entered the hut. Their armor was made of black stone and glowing cloth. They didn't speak, but they nodded at Lyra. She stood and bowed, then helped Jack to his feet. "What now?" he asked. "The elder wishes to see you," she said. Jack was led through the village. Dozens of aliens bowed as he passed. Some held gifts, strange fruits, carved stones, glowing feathers. Lyra gently took each offering and placed it in a large woven bag. Jack was speechless. "This is too much," he muttered. "They honor you," Lyra explained. "They believe your arrival will change everything. They hope you bring light." They entered the Elder's Hall, a tall circular building surrounded by torches. Inside, the tribal elder sat on a stone throne, surrounded by silent figures. "You have accepted Lyra's devotion," the elder began. "Do you accept the responsibility that comes with it?" Jack hesitated. "What kind of responsibility?" The elder leaned forward. "You are not just her guardian now. You are a symbol, a protector, a bridge between our tribe and the sky." Jack swallowed. "I didn't come here to be a bridge. I just crashed my ship. Even a falling star lands for a reason," the elder said. "You entered during the sacred ritual. This cannot be undone. What happens if I don't follow these rules?" The room went cold. One of the silent warriors stepped forward and spoke for the first time. "Then the tribe breaks." "The tribe breaks?" Jack asked. Lyra explained softly. "When a sky one appears, we offer peace, unity, hope. If he refuses, tribes may rise against each other. Chaos may come." Jack looked at the faces around him. Some were full of awe, others with worry, and a few with quiet anger. "Okay," he said finally. "I'll follow your rules, but only because I don't want to start a war." The elder nodded. "Then we begin your teachings, and your protection." "My protection?" The elder's eyes darkened. "Not all believe in the prophecy. Some say you are not sacred. They speak in shadows. They call for trials." Jack stiffened. "Trials?" Lyra took his hand gently. "Don't be afraid. I will stay with you. I will guide you." He looked into her eyes again. That same belief still burned there. It wasn't about power or fear. It was something else. Something deeper. That night, Jack lay under strange stars outside the hut. Lyra sat beside him humming an ancient song. She had refused to sleep inside, she said. A pet sleeps near her guardian. Jack sighed. You don't have to call yourself a pet. But it is our way, she replied. I choose this path. No one forced me. Don't you want to be free? He asked. She smiled, softly. Serving someone with kindness is also freedom. They fell into silence, but deep in the jungle a pair of red eyes watched them, and not just one pair. Voices in the dark whispered, he is a fraud. He weakens the tribe. He must be tested. One of them carved a mark into a tree near the village, a symbol of blood, a challenge. Whispers from the jungle. Night fell heavy over the alien village. A thick mist rolled through the jungle, curling like smoke between the glowing trees. The stars above flickered behind fast-moving clouds. The jungle was not asleep. It was watching. Jack sat outside the hut, sharpening a stick with a small blade he had salvaged from his ship. He didn't know why he was doing it. Maybe it made him feel more in control. Maybe it helped him think. Lyra sat nearby, her silver eyes watching him calmly. She hadn't spoken in a while. The silence between them was not empty. It was thick with questions. Lyra, Jack finally said, has anyone ever lied about being a Sky One before? She blinked slowly. No one can lie about it. Only the jungle decides. But how? Do you know I'm not just some random guy who crashed here? She tilted her head. Because you arrived during the fire moon. Because you stepped into the sacred circle without fear. Because the tribe felt it in their bones. You are meant to be here. Jack sighed. But what if I'm not? What if this is all a mistake? Before she could answer, a soft whistle echoed through the trees. Jack stood up instantly. What was that? Lyra froze. Her eyes narrowed. Something is near. The whistle came again, followed by a low growl, deep, guttural, and close. Jack raised his sharpened stick, though he knew it wouldn't do much. Shadows moved between the trees. Something large, something silent. Then, nothing. Lyra whispered, come inside, quickly. Jack followed her into the hut. She sealed the entrance with a heavy cloth and drew a strange pattern in the dirt floor using glowing powder. She whispered words in her language. Jack didn't understand them, but he felt the air shift. What was that out there? He asked. A jungle watcher, she replied. They do not attack unless called. Called by who? She didn't answer. The next morning, the village felt strange. The air was colder, the sky more gray. Jack noticed fewer smiles. The warriors looked tense. Even the children stayed near their homes. He walked with Lyra to the central square where the elder waited. The elder's face was grave. He held a long staff with a serpent carved around it. Something stirs in the jungle, he said. Ancient spirits are uneasy. And a mark was found on the western trees. He held up a piece of bark. On it, burned, deep into the wood, was a symbol, an eye with 3 claws over it. Lyra gasped. The Blood Hand, Jack frowned. Who are they? A hidden sect, the elder said. They do not believe in the Sky Ones. They reject the old ways. They follow a different truth, one that leads to pain. So they don't think I'm sacred, Jack said slowly. They think you are a danger, the elder replied. They believe your presence will destroy our balance. Jack crossed his arms. And what are they going to do about it? They will test you, Lyra whispered. They will break the peace. They will try to expose you as false. But I am false, Jack said. I'm not what they think I am. The elder stepped forward. Maybe not. Maybe you are something more. But now you must survive what comes next. That night, Jack couldn't sleep. Every sound outside made him jump. Branches cracking, wind howling. Once he swore he heard whispering, but when he looked out, nothing was there. Lyra sat awake watching the shadows. You should sleep, he told her. I can't, she said. They are close. Suddenly, a scream cut through the village. Jack jumped up, grabbing his stick. That was near, Lyra said. Come, They ran through the village. Flames lit the path as villagers gathered around the eastern wall. A young warrior lay on the ground, his chest slashed. 3 claw marks. His eyes were wide open, frozen in fear. The elder arrived and stared at the body. "The blood hand sends a message," he said. "The trial has begun." The next morning, a black banner was found at the edge of the village. Written on it in red dust were the words, "Prove yourself, Sky One, or leave." In blood. Jack stared at the banner for a long time. "They won't stop," he said. "No," Lyra answered. He looked around the village. These people who believed in him. These people who feared what he might bring. He didn't ask to be a symbol. He didn't want to lead. But something in his chest burned. He wouldn't run. He looked at Lyra. "Tell the elder. I'll face their trial." Her eyes widened. "Are you sure? If I back down now, they win. And your people fall apart." Lyra touched his hand. "Then I will prepare you, not as your pet, but as your guide." Jack nodded. He was no god. But maybe, just maybe, being human was enough. Deep in the jungle, cloaked figures gathered around a black flame. They watched Jack through a crystal carved from bone. "He has agreed," one whispered. "Then let the jungle judge him," said another. They raised their hands. The ground shook, and something ancient began to wake. The test of trust. The sun didn't rise the next morning. Instead, the sky turned a pale, sickly yellow. The jungle was quiet, too quiet. Even the birds had stopped singing. Something heavy hung in the air, like the world itself was holding its breath. Jack stood at the edge of the village, staring at the trail that led into the jungle. He knew what was waiting for him beyond the trees. The Bloodhand, the ones who whispered that he was a fake, the ones who killed the warrior 2 nights ago. And now, they wanted him to walk into their world alone. But he wasn't alone. Lyra stood beside him, carrying a satchel made of soft green cloth. Inside were roots, powders, and tools, small things from her world that could help. "You don't have to come," Jack said quietly. "I do," Lyra answered. "I cannot protect you in the trial, but I can prepare you for it." Jack nodded. He didn't fully understand how this trial worked, but he knew it wasn't a simple fight. It was a test, a game of survival, of spirit, and of truth. And the jungle was their arena. The elder approached with 2 guards. He carried a wooden box wrapped in red vines. He opened it, and inside was a stone disc glowing faintly. "This is the Watcher's Eye," he said. "It records the truth. Carry it into the jungle. If you pass the trial, it will show your victory." Jack took the disc. It was warm, like it had a heartbeat. "And if I don't pass?" he asked. "Then it will show your failure," the elder said softly. "And the tribe will see your true nature." Jack looked around. So many eyes watching, some full of hope, others full of fear, a few full of hate. He took a deep breath and stepped into the jungle. The trees grew taller as he walked, thicker, darker. The trail disappeared behind him. Strange vines reached down from above, like fingers trying to touch him. Glowing insects buzzed around his head. Each step felt like it echoed. He had never felt so small. After an hour, he came to a circle of black stones. Carved into the center was the Bloodhand's mark, an eye with 3 claw marks through it. He stepped inside, and the jungle responded. A voice echoed from the trees. Low, twisted. "You have come." "Good." Jack turned in every direction but saw no one. "You walk with the blessing of fools," the voice said. "But blessings do not shield the weak." "Show yourself," Jack called. Nothing. Instead, the trees moved. Roots lifted from the ground, forming a path. Torches lit one by one, floating mid-air, guiding him forward. Jack followed them. The first trial was of fear. He entered a clearing where visions filled the air, ghostly images that felt real. He saw his home planet in flames, his family screaming, himself, kneeling before strange machines. He closed his eyes. He whispered, "This is not real." The images screamed louder. But Jack stepped forward anyway. The visions shattered like glass. The path opened again. The second trial was of pain. He was forced to walk across burning stones. Thorns cut at his legs. Insects bit his skin. Every step was harder. Sweat poured from his face. Blood from his feet. He collapsed once, twice. But he remembered Lyra's voice. "We follow not because you are perfect, but because you do not stop." He stood again, and the path opened. The third trial was of truth. He found himself before a mirror, not made of glass, but of water. When he looked in, he saw not his face, but versions of himself. One wore a crown. One held a weapon. One lay in chains. A voice asked, "Which one are you?" Jack stared at the images. "None," he said. "I'm just trying to survive." The water stilled, and then split open, revealing a stairway of light. But not all was peaceful. Behind him, shadows moved. The blood hand had not left the trial to the spirits alone. A figure stepped from the dark, face painted, eyes glowing red. "You've done well," he hissed. "But only death proves worth." He drew a blade of bone and charged. Jack dodged just in time. His sharpened stick shattered under the force of the attack. He rolled, grabbed a rock and threw it. It hit the attacker's shoulder but only slowed him. They fought among the roots. Jack wasn't stronger, but he was faster, smarter. He grabbed a glowing vine and wrapped it around the attacker's legs. The vine tightened on its own, like it was alive. The attacker screamed and fell. Jack held the stone disc over him. "The trial is over," he said. But the attacker laughed. "You've proven nothing." Jack turned away and walked toward the light. He returned to the village just before sunrise, bruised, bleeding, but alive. He placed the Watcher's eye before the elder. The tribe gathered. The disc glowed. It played back the trials, the visions, the pain, the final battle. No lies, no edits, only truth. When it ended, silence filled the village. Then a single voice whispered, "He is worthy." Others joined in. Soon the whole tribe was chanting. Lyra knelt beside him, not as a pet but with pride. But the elder did not smile. He said, "This was only the first test. There are darker things coming, things even I do not understand." Jack looked at the sky. It was red now. Burning red, and somewhere in the jungle the blood hand was not defeated. They were waiting, and they were angry. Fire in the temple. The sky cracked with thunder, no storm clouds above, no rain, just thunder that came from the jungle itself. Jack stood at the center of the village, the glow of the Watcher's eye fading in his hands. Around him the tribe remained silent. Even after witnessing the trial, even after watching him face illusions, pain, and an ambush, there was still doubt. Hidden in the corners of eyes, buried in the stillness of lips, only Lyra stood with open belief. She touched his arm gently. "You are stronger than they thought." He looked down at his bruised hands. "I'm not trying to be strong. I'm just trying to stay alive." Before she could speak, the sound of a horn echoed through the trees. Sharp, cold. It sent chills across the village. Then came the screams. Jack turned just in time to see flames burst from the sacred temple. The fire climbed fast. Red and blue sparks shot into the air. Smoke filled the sky in thick black waves. Villagers ran toward it with buckets of water and wet cloths, shouting orders. Some fell to their knees and wept. The sacred temple had stood for centuries. It held their stories, their ancient relics, their deepest truth, and now it was burning. "They did this," one warrior shouted. "This is punishment. He is not the chosen one." "No," Lyra cried. "This is not his doing." But the doubt spread faster than fire. The elder arrived, face pale, eyes dark. "Bring him to the circle," he said. "What?" Jack stepped back. "I didn't do this." "Until we know the truth," the elder replied. "You must stand before the judgment flame." The circle was a place of trial. Not the jungle trial, but a sacred space within the village. 8 stones surrounded a fire pit, each stone carved with symbols of the old spirits. Jack was led there, not as a guest now, but as one being judged. Torches were lit. Drums began to beat slow and deep like a heartbeat. The crowd gathered. Lyra tried to speak, but 2 warriors held her back. The elder raised a hand. "Sacred temple has burned, and the one we welcomed as holy stood near it. We must ask, was this fate, or was this betrayal?" "I didn't light that fire," Jack shouted. "You saw the trial. You saw everything." "The trial was real," the elder said, "but the fire was real too." A voice from the crowd yelled, "He brought chaos, just like the Bloodhand warned." More voices followed. "The jungle is sick because of him. The fire is a sign." Jack looked around. So many eyes. So much fear. Then a cloaked figure stepped from the crowd, a young woman, an apprentice to the healer. Her face was marked with ash, her eyes wild. "I saw it," she said. "I saw him near the temple last night, alone, before the fire." The crowd gasped. "That's a lie," Jack shouted. "I wasn't even near there. I was resting. Lyra was with me." The girl shook her head. "I saw what I saw." Jack turned to Lyra. Her face was frozen in shock. The elder nodded slowly. "We will let the judgment flame speak." The judgment flame was no ordinary fire. It burned white and blue, fed by sacred oils. Jack was made to kneel before it. The elder placed the watcher's eye in the fire's center. "The flame will test the truth within your words," he said. "If your heart is clean, it will remain calm. If not, it will rise." Jack breathed slowly. "I didn't start that fire." The flame flickered. Then it rose. Higher. Hotter. The crowd stepped back. "He lied," the cloaked girl shouted. "He brought this curse." But Lyra ran forward. "No, this is wrong. He's not lying." "The flame does not lie," the elder said. "No," Lyra snapped, her voice breaking. "But someone poisoned it." Silence fell over the circle. She turned to the apprentice girl. "You burned the temple. You lied to the flame." The girl froze. "You always feared the old stories," Lyra said. "You hated what they meant. You joined the Bloodhand." The girl laughed then, high and broken. "They said he would change everything. I couldn't let that happen. I was supposed to be the guide, not you." Then she turned to run. But the warriors caught her. They pulled off her cloak. Underneath, marks of the Bloodhand covered her skin. The truth exploded in the air like thunder. The elder looked at Jack, his eyes full of sorrow and shame. "Forgive us," he said quietly. Jack said nothing. He just walked away. That night the village was silent. The temple still smoked in the distance. The tribe was shaken, not just by the fire, but by how quickly they had turned on someone they once worshipped. Jack sat by the river, staring at his reflection. Bruises, burns, anger in his eyes. Lyra sat beside him. "They didn't deserve you," she said. "Maybe I didn't deserve them either," he replied. "But you didn't run," she whispered. "You stood through every trial, even when they doubted you, even when they turned." Jack looked up at the stars. "This place doesn't need a god," he said. "It needs someone who won't break." "Then stay," Lyra said. "Not as a god, not as a master. Just stay." Jack didn't answer, but he didn't walk away either. Far beyond the trees, a shadow watched from a mountaintop. The Bloodhand had lost a piece of its plan, but not the war, and their next move would strike the sky. The divine trial, a cold wind blew through the village. The temple was gone. Only black stone and broken ashes remained where stories once lived. The smoke had stopped rising, but the air still carried its scent, burned wood and betrayal. Jack stood, at the center of the ruins looking at what was left. He didn't speak, not when the villagers passed with bowed heads, not when the children hid behind their mothers, not even when the elder approached in silence. "We failed you," the elder finally said. Jack didn't turn. "You failed yourselves," he answered. The elder closed his eyes. "There is only one way left to restore what was lost." Jack raised an eyebrow. "And what is that?" "You must face the divine trial," the elder said. "You must enter the beast pit." A quiet hush fell over the area as the words echoed in the wind. Jack turned slowly. "What's the beast pit?" Lyra stepped forward. Her face was pale, her voice barely above a whisper. "It is a place beneath the jungle," she said. "A deep cavern where the Old One sealed a creature born from rage and sorrow. No warrior has entered and returned. Even the blood hand fears what sleeps inside." Jack looked at the elder. "And now you want me to go in?" "Not to die," the elder said. "To prove what you are." Jack laughed, bitter and tired. "How many times do I have to prove I'm not your enemy?" "Only once more," the elder replied. "Because this time the jungle itself will decide." They prepared him in silence. Lyra painted his skin with white clay mixed with flower ash. It glowed under moonlight. Ancient symbols: protection, truth, fire. She tied a thin blade to his back. Not for killing, for defense, in case the creature chose death over judgment. Jack looked at her. "You still believe in me after everything?" She nodded. "You didn't come here to be worshipped, but you stayed. That means more." The elder handed him a torch. "You have one day. If you return with the creature's mark, the tribe will follow you. If not..." Jack didn't wait to hear the rest. He turned and walked into the jungle. The entrance to the beast pit was hidden behind a waterfall. The water roared as Jack pushed through it, climbing down slippery rocks until he reached the mouth of a cave. Roots hung like twisted fingers from the ceiling. Glowing moss lit the path. The ground felt alive. He stepped inside. Each step echoed with a hollow thump. He moved deeper, deeper, until the jungle above was gone and the air turned thick and hot. Suddenly, the walls shook. Something had hurt him. A growl rolled through the cave like thunder under the skin. Jack held his torch high. In the center of the pit, chained by glowing bands of light, lay a beast unlike anything he had seen. 12 feet tall, horns like stone, 4 arms, skin made of shifting metal and bone, eyes like dying stars. It was beautiful and terrifying. It opened its eyes and stared at him. "You are not one of them," it said in a voice that echoed inside his skull. "No," Jack said, "but they think I am." The beast tilted its head. "Then why are you here?" Jack walked closer. The chains hummed. "Because I'm tired of running from what I am." The beast laughed. "And what are you?" Jack lowered the torch. "Human." The chains glowed brighter. "Human," the beast whispered. "The Fireborn, the makers of chaos, the bringers of light." "They think I'm sacred," Jack said. "But I'm just a man. I didn't ask for this. I didn't want to lead them." "Then why stay?" Jack paused. "Because someone has to protect them," the beast roared, not in rage, in approval. The cave shook. The chains shattered. The beast stood. Its full height cast a shadow over Jack. It raised one arm and lowered it slowly. Its clawed hand touched Jack's chest. A mark burned into his skin, shaped like a flame inside a star. "You are not divine," the beast said, "but you are true." Jack felt heat spread through his body. Not pain, power, clarity, strength. "Go," the beast said. "They wait, and so does war." When Jack returned to the village, the sky had darkened. Not night, but something worse. The clouds were red. The winds were screaming. The blood hand had arrived. Hundreds of them, painted in black, weapons drawn, faces twisted in hate. They marched through the jungle, burning everything in their path. The village gathered in fear. The elder looked at the sky. "He won't return," he whispered. "We asked too much." But then, the fire parted, and Jack stepped through, his body marked by light, his skin still glowing with the beast's blessing. The tribe fell to their knees, even the elder. But Jack raised a hand. "Stand," he said. "No more worship, no more fear." The warriors stood. "You have seen what I faced," Jack continued. "You saw the truth." Lyra stepped beside him. "And now we fight together." The elder stepped forward. "What will you have us do, Sky One?" Jack looked at the fire on the horizon. "We fight, not to protect me, but to protect each other." And behind him, the beast's mark flared, a symbol of unity, a sign of war. Far beyond the trees, the Yar, leader of the Bloodhand, watched from a black tower. He survived the divine trial. The priest hissed. A second figure stepped into the shadows. Taller, armored, silent. "Then we kill him," the figure said. "No," the priest smiled. "We kill everything he cares about. Then we let him live." As they spoke, their army moved forward, and the final battle drew near. Not a god, but something greater. The sky was bleeding. Red clouds curled like claws over the jungle. Smoke rolled over treetops. Fire danced on the horizon. The ground trembled beneath every step of the Bloodhand army. They came in silence. No war cries, no chants, just a tide of shadows moving to erase what they feared. And at the center of the village, Jack stood, not in armor, not on a throne, just standing tall with the mark of the beast glowing on his chest and Lyra beside him. The tribe stood behind them, silent and scared. Jack looked at them, eyes sharp, voice steady. "This is not a fight for me. This is a fight for us." "They will burn everything," one warrior said. "Then we stop them here," Jack replied. The elder walked forward slowly. "You are not a god, Jack. But you've become more." Jack looked into the elder's eyes. "I've just become what you needed me to be." Lyra placed a hand on his back. "What now?" Jack turned to her, his voice quiet. "Now, we make our last stand." They didn't have weapons strong enough. The tribe fought with spears, shields made of bark and bone, and old magic passed down through songs and dust. But they had something more. They had belief. They had Jack. Under his guidance, the villagers built defenses, wooden walls soaked in fire powder, traps made of thorn roots, pits lined with stone teeth. Jack and Lyra trained the youngest, not to kill, but to survive, to protect one another. They lit the village with sacred fire, not for light, but for strength. The beast's mark pulsed on Jack's chest, glowing brighter with every step he took near danger. He could feel something awakening inside him. Not power like fire or lightning, but clarity, instinct, understanding. He no longer doubted who he was. The first wave of Bloodhand soldiers came at dawn. They moved fast, silent, like shadows with knives. But the traps worked. Spears flew from hidden pits. Vines snapped and wrapped around legs. The fire powder walls exploded, forcing the soldiers back. Jack stood on the front line. He fought with no sword, just a staff in his own hands. But every move counted. Every strike landed. And when one Bloodhand soldier charged him with a curved blade, Jack didn't flinch. He moved fast as thought, disarming him with a twist of his arm. The villagers saw it. They saw him move not as a human, not as a god, but as something else. But the enemy didn't stop. The second wave brought fire. Flaming arrows lit the huts. Poison smoke filled the air. Children cried, warriors fell. Then the beast came. Not the one from the pit. This one was created, 20 feet tall, fused with metal and bone, controlled by the Bloodhand's shadow priest. Its body breathed fire. Its claws could crush stone. It roared once and the ground split open. The villagers broke ranks, some running in fear. But Jack stood still. The priest stepped forward. his face hidden by a mask of skulls. "You are not a sky one," he spat. "You are filth, a mistake." "You're right," Jack replied. "I'm not a sky one." The priest raised his hand to strike, but Jack lifted his palm, and the mark of the beast blazed like a star. The fire in the air bent, the ground shook, and from the jungle, the real beast returned, unchained. Awake, angry, it leaped into the battle, with a roar that split the clouds. It crashed into the priest beast, and the two titans clashed like gods of old. Metal tore, fire burned, but the real beast moved with purpose, with fury, with honor. Jack turned to the villagers. "Fight with me." This time they didn't hesitate. They charged side by side, warriors and farmers, elders and children. Lyra fought like wind, fast, precise, unshaken. They drove back the blood hand, inch by inch, and when Jack reached the shadow priest, he didn't use magic, he didn't use tricks, he fought with his hands. The priest swung a staff of black light, but Jack caught it, broke it, and looked into the priest's eyes. "You made people fear me," he said. "You burned their hope," the priest hissed. "They are weak." "No," Jack said. "They're strong, because they choose to protect." He drove his fist into the priest's mask. It shattered, and the war ended with it. Silence fell again. The beast stood beside Jack, eyes soft now, fire gone. The villagers gathered. The blood hand fled or dropped their weapons. There was no cheering, just peace. For the first time in memory, days passed. The village rebuilt, not with worship, but with unity. Jack sat near the river, where it all began. He stared at his reflection. The mark on his chest had faded. The beast had returned to the jungle. Lyra sat beside him. "You were never one of us," she said. "I know, but you became more than that." Jack looked at the sky. "I wasn't chosen. I just chose not to run," she smiled. "That's what made you greater than a god." Jack chuckled. "I never wanted to be sacred." "You're not," she said. "You're human, and that's enough." He turned to her. "What now?" She took his hand. "Now you stay, not as a leader, not as a master, not as a god." "As what then?" he asked. "As someone who finally belongs." And for the first time, he believed it. Far beyond the stars, on a ship orbiting a forgotten moon, a screen flickered. A human appeared on it. Not with armor, not with weapons, but marked with fire. Alien eyes watched in silence. One voice said, "He has awakened the old blood." Another replied, "Prepare the others." "War?" "No," the voice said. "Hope." And across the galaxy, the legend began, not of a god, but of a human who chose to protect, even when he had nothing to gain, even when the stars themselves watched in silence.